Up next on The Bottom Line, after an officer-involved shooting, police talk mental health training.
What we're trying to do is help officers identify signs and symptoms of behavioral health concerns.
Spotting the signs and getting help for elder abuse will take you to a recent county forum.
As people get older, they become more and more vulnerable to being victims of crime.
How these dogs are making some children better readers. Why do you like reading to dogs?
It's so wonderful.
And getting down and dirty at Montgomery County's Mudfest.
These days you don't really get as much of a chance to get dirty and just be down to earth and do this, and I love that.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Susan Kennedy. Detectives from Montgomery County Police are continuing their investigation into an officer-involved shooting that took place on June 11th in Silver Spring. In the meantime, the department opened its doors to the media recently for a look inside one of the many training classes it offers.
We talked about individuals that have mental health issues.
These Montgomery County police officers are fulfilling their 8 hours of mandatory mental health first aid instruction. It's part of a 40-hour program that also teaches the officers de-escalation techniques, communication strategies, and conflict management.
Mental health first aid is a requirement in the academy now, so we're giving these officers, we've been doing this. We made it a requirement in 2017, but we have taught the class 2 years prior to that. So about 2015, we started the mental health first aid training. It was a grant that was given to us by the Maryland Police Training Commission. They had identified different officers throughout the state to become instructors. We thought it would be a good thing. We knew that the department was progressively moving in that direction.
In 2017, police made the training mandatory. Doors were opened to this most recent class in response to last week's fatal officer-involved shooting that took place in Silver Spring. 41-year-old Robert Lawrence White was unarmed when he was killed during a struggle with Officer Anand Bajugar. Montgomery County Police say that 1 in 10 of the calls they receive involve an individual with mental health issues.
Here in this class and in our CIT curriculum, what we're trying to do is help officers identify signs and symptoms of behavioral health concerns so that there is early awareness in the situation that they might be working with an individual who has certain challenges in their communication. And so, the officers are able to slow the situation down, take a little bit more time to sort of understand what the person might be experiencing and handle the situation accordingly.
County police will meet with members of the Howard County State's Attorney's Office next week to determine whether or not body camera footage shot at the scene will be released. To date, Officer Bajugar has declined to speak publicly on the matter.
That's not uncommon for an officer to hold off from speaking or not speak in these type of cases. There are many other types of evidence that we can begin to look at, including at least 2 perspectives from police-worn body cameras.
Each year, it's estimated 5 million older adults are abused, neglected, or exploited. Older Americans lose an estimated $3 billion annually to elder financial abuse and exploitation. For 8 years, Montgomery County has been a participant in World Elder Abuse Day, an important learning opportunity for residents of all ages.
When someone is victimized by elder abuse, they are 300% more likely to die.
Nearly 20% of the population in Montgomery County is made up of seniors. They are an integral part of the fabric of the community. Each year, the county brings together resources to raise awareness about one of the worst crimes out there, elder abuse.
A lot of us seniors are vulnerable, and a lot of them don't get out as much or don't have the kind of contacts that other people have, and this is an opportunity for people to come here. We've obviously filled the house, and you have a lot of different organizations that provide support, and it's a great way to connect these folks with the organizations they can help from.
Leaders from all of the county public safety agencies were on hand for the Safety Forum. Their message: Be informed.
Isolation really, unfortunately, can make people a target.
As people get older, they become more and more vulnerable to being victims of crime. And we see this with scams that people are trying to pull.
The largest category of crimes against seniors in this community is financial fraud.
What we need to do is make sure that all these folks understand that this goes on, to keep them aware of the scams that people try to pull, and make sure that they don't fall victim to those.
And the Department of Fire and Rescue Services was also at the forum with some important safety information.
It's a uniformed, trained Montgomery County firefighter. They'll check your house. They'll look for other fire hazards. They'll give you a list of anything that we find. We'll check your smoke alarms, and in many cases, if you need new smoke alarms, we can provide them. It may be that we're not going to be able to provide you the smoke alarms, in which case we'll write down for you exactly what you need to get.
Why will you have the fire department come out to check your smoke alarm?
Well, because I want to double check. I want to be sure if everything okay. I have only two, one upstairs, one in the basement. But I want to double check. They want to double check if everything okay.
It actually starts even before we get in the door. I want to make sure that we can see their address numbers clearly. We want to make sure, especially near the bedroom, that there is a working smoke alarm. We want to make sure that they're not climbing on chairs or tables or ladders if they have no business being up there. If I'm cooking and I've made a little bit of smoke, I can push the button, and I don't even need to get up on a ladder. I can use a yardstick, I can use a broom, and if I just touch the button, it silences the alarm.
It's estimated that only 1 in 25 seniors report when they are being abused physically, and 1 in 44 report financial abuse. Most stay quiet out of fear or embarrassment, but Montgomery County officials want senior residents to know there are connections in this community to assist them in these situations.
And it's amazing how many people are abused. It's just, I mean, my own family, my wife received a call that she was going to be locked up. And of course I knew you were supposed to hang up when that happens, but I wanted to hear what this person had to say. And if you didn't know, then you would think that there was a real problem.
You have to have a pretty dark mindset to decide to prey on people who you've determined are kind of helpless and to take advantage of them. And particularly take advantage of them at a stage in their lives where they can't afford to lose anything. You know, there is not going to be a second opportunity to replace something you lost or the earnings that you lose. This is really serious.
If you are a victim of elder abuse or you know someone who is being abused, you can call 240-777-3000. In this year's budget, the council funded $42.8 million for Montgomery County Public Libraries. There are more than a dozen libraries in the county where there are programs and services for residents from all walks of life. In this next story, we'll tell you about a program where dogs are having an impact on children's reading skills.
We will be holding our Read to a Dog program at 4:30 in the program room.
Meet Monty and Ace, two tail-wagging tutors who spend their Wednesday afternoons at the Gaithersburg Library. They are part of the Read to a Dog program, where young readers come and share a book of their choice to these four-legged friends.
We encourage children, mostly kindergarten through second grade, especially for our dogs, to come and really just practice their reading skills in a non-threatening environment. It gives them a chance to not feel intimidated.
Monty and Ace are both retired service dogs. Monty was the companion of Madeline Berry's son, Mark, who passed away last year.
After that, Monty, since they've been together for 5 years, he really was used to being out, being with people, and he was going through the grieving process as well. And so I just happened to be up at the library. I saw the sign that said, you know, Read to a Dog, and I was like, oh, this is great. So I stopped by the librarian and said, you know, hey, this is a retired service dog. I'd really like to be a part of the program. And so they said, absolutely.
Ace was a guide dog. When he retired, he went back to live with his puppy raiser, Terry Binder. She started volunteering with Read to a Dog because she says he needed a job. She tells us the program not only instills confidence in the young readers, but it also puts some children's fears to rest.
The other thing I have found that I wasn't expecting is the kids who are afraid of dogs. These are perfect dogs for them because they're so calm. And so we are doing sort of double duty. We're doing not only the reading part, but we're here for kids to learn a little bit about dogs. And so we get to do both things, I think.
There was a bit of a wait to read to Monty and Ace, and each and every one of the bookworms had a story about a dog to share with their captive audience. Tell me about the book that you picked to read to Monty. What book did you pick?
Go Dog Go.
That was so smart. Why did you pick Go Dog Go?
Because I like that book. Go Dogs Go.
Why do you like reading to dogs?
Because it's so wonderful.
Why did you choose Perfectly Martha?
Because it's about dogs, and reading to a dog is basically reading about dogs to a dog.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And what do you like about reading to the dogs? What does it do for you when you're sitting there reading to them?
Well, it just makes me interested of what dogs aren't really listening, but they're interested.
The Read to a Dog program has a number of benefits, including improving a child's self-esteem and even reducing anxiety or stress. Monty and Ace benefit too, with plenty of love and affection.
We've had kids that are either, shyer or, they may not have been as motivated to read. And this has been a great opportunity. We've had several parents that have told us that, it's given their kid a new experience to, open up and be more willing to read, to become a reader. So yes, we have. It's very exciting to hear those kinds of things.
Dogs can teach us about what matters most, and the unconditional acceptance is just what these children need in their journey to become better readers for many years to come.
That was a good story. Thank you. Very nice job.
Thank you.
Recently, Montgomery County Parks held its first Mudfest, a family-friendly event presented by Black Hill Nature Programs. The inaugural Mudfest took place at the Woodstock Equestrian Park in Bellsville, and it was likely the dirtiest event in Montgomery County.
Mudfest is a one-of-a-kind event. It's the first in Maryland, and it's all about people playing in mud. And we just want families to come and enjoy nature, and this is a great way to do it.
When I started at Black Hill, I really got inspired about play in nature, and so we started doing mud programs. So last June, I went to our park managers and showed them the videos that this is what I want to do. How do we make it happen? I think just that, letting loose and connecting to these natural materials is so important, to get just down and dirty and understand that we're a part of nature.
So the first time I went down, there was no mud. It was just water from the little pit right there. That one hurt the most. We just slide off the cardboard mostly right now.
I would describe it as 90% fun and 10% pain.
It's all muddy and everywhere. I got my shoes stuck in the mud. So now my shoes are just, I have to take off my shoes. It drives your parents crazy. Then you just keep going in the mud, they'll go crazy even more. Well, it's good that you can get really dirty, but you can also have fun with it, and then there's washing stations over there.
What does this do for the kids?
Well, it gives them the freedom to run around, get dirty. They don't have to be restrained to being clean like we always keep them in the house. So they just do whatever they want. They have a lot of people who are volunteering to make sure that they're safe.
I wasn't planning to get dirty at all. I saw the water spraying, I tried to sneak up behind her, and I took a dive. So here I am now getting wet. But it's a blast.
These days you don't really get as much of a chance to get dirty and just be down to earth and do this, and I love that. I love doing it now.
And on a much somber note, we want to take the time to honor the memory of a lifelong Montgomery County resident who died in the recent mass shooting in Annapolis. John McNamara grew up in Bethesda and lived in Kent Mill. He loved sports and covering his alma mater, the University of Maryland.
Good evening. My name is John McNamara. I live in the Kent Mill section of Silver Spring. I'm interested in a lot of...
John was also an active citizen who was passionate about county libraries. In fact, he attended our last County Council Town Hall meeting in White Oak.
I would also suggest that support for the library system is also essential to kids doing well in school. As Albert Einstein said, the only thing you really need to know is the location of the library.
Thank you, Mr. McNamara.
Condolences from all of us at County Cable Montgomery to John and his family. There has been a GoFundMe account set up for all the victims.